everybody. It is Saturday Night Live. Boom. How you doing tonight? How are you? It is more 8 than ish. More 8 than ish tonight. Whoa, getting feedback there. Happy Saturday Night Live, Kitty. Great to have you here on Saturday Night Live. How was your day? Grateful to have you here. Tell me what you are grateful for this evening. This is like 2 nights in a row that I'm on time. Mark it down. Check the box. Tired, but a good tired. Yes, we were busy today. I like refreshing sales at the end of my day and seeing numbers like that. That was a nice thing for a Saturday in January. And I like hearing that you have a good tired. I don't like you being tired, but a good tired is a good tired. You know, that is, I've had a busy phone day today. It is like April again, where my phone is a constant. And, it's something I excel at, so it's okay. It's something I enjoy. I enjoy being able to... Huh? It's a good tired, Kitty. How's that? It's a good tired. Cassandra came out and said, I was like, I've been on the phone all day. She's like, yeah, I thought that would happen. I have... had multiple 2-hour calls today, and there's only so many 2-hour blocks there are in a day. I do not control the clock. But this is good stuff. It is. There's lots of good happening and lots of good happening for people. Jennifer, hello. How are you this evening? How are you on this on Saturday Night Live, Self-Care Sunday Eve? I love that, we're going to really look at that texting you're doing, Kitty, because that's something we don't do now, and I am certainly intrigued by it, especially when it generates a good tired. Hey, Sylvia, how are you this evening? Great to have you here. Chilly here in Florida. What did it do? Get down to 50, 60? We were just finishing watching a Walt Disney production on the Imagineers and part of the history of Disney, and it was amazing on Disney Plus. Hey, Adele and Dazzle are here. So it had me thinking, Florida. I need a trip. I need to go imagine. I need to live the imagination. I love this quote of his. Disneyland turns adults into children. Disneyland turns adults into children. Oh my gosh, the 40s tonight. Brad's going to get the pants out. Brad's getting the pants out tonight. I'm feeling. I feel. Let me get out the harp. I think we get down to 18. Hey Alexa, what's the weather tonight? Temperature 27 tonight, according to Alexa. 27 tonight, according to Alexa. Jennifer, so I know it's not a Minnesota night in the 40s, but, not too shabby either. Not too shabby. Hopefully you had a good day down there in Florida. A good day. But, now after I've been so inspired, we need to head to Disney World. Yeah. I think that's where I need to pick up my new car. Rebecca's willing to go on the road trip with me. She's got time off and personal days that she has to use by the end of February. She's willing to, and Cassandra's willing to pack both our bags. Rebecca's willing to pack my credit card. Alrighty, guys. I've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, so I'm going to hop right into the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Tonight, if you are following along, we are on page 78. 78. I like this. Peep the pep in your step and the glide in your stride. You're a knockout, my friend. Let yourself be your guide. Good morning. There is your good morning tonight, folks. There you go. Ooh, I have the Self-Care Sunday recipe on top here. I'm going to save that for later, but it looks really good. Looks really good. Lots of good stuff here. So much to cover here. Let's see, what do we got? I thought I'd share this. So I thought I'd talk COVID for a second. So I thought I'd talk COVID for just a brief second and just give perspective. Just give perspective, because I thought this perspective of this group that I work with in New York was really good today. So I thought I would share it. Okay? Organizationally, as of today, we have 31 staff in quarantine and 13 individuals in quarantine. 5 individuals, well, this is, I guess I got to give a little background. This is a group that supports people with disabilities and developmental disabilities. So the organization as a whole has 31 staff in quarantine and 13 individuals in quarantine. 5 individuals supported are currently positive for the virus. But this is the important part. To give you a sense of the acceleration of positive cases over the past 2 months, we've had 32 staff test positive since March 30th, and 30 of those have come just since Thanksgiving. So again, while it's devastating that they have so many right now at this given time, perspective says the great job they've been doing all along, much like you've been doing in your stores, much like you've been doing in your stores. I mean, we had a team member today who doesn't know whether she's positive or not. She probably isn't. Okay, I'm pretty sure she just has a bug, but she's basically isolated to her bedroom at home because her parents own a very, very small business. And if they had to shut down, it would be lights out for good. And so she is staying hibernated in her room. They're leaving food outside her door. They're letting her go to the bathroom. And nobody's coming in contact with anything that she's come in contact with. And it's out of an abundance of caution to keep everybody healthy and keep the family business going. So but the perspective of where you've been, this has been since March. I mean, for this agency to have 32 test positives since March, and 30 of those have come just since Thanksgiving, that's still really good. I mean, there's a lot of good in that message. Hey, Pat and the Peanut Gallery, how are you? Terrific sales day. Congratulations. So happy to hear that. So happy to hear that you had a terrific day. We had a good day as well today, but it's just one day. It's just one day of many. But we move one step closer to the other side of this. One step closer to this all being over. Michelle, welcome to the program. Michelle, welcome to the program. How are you? Who are we talking about? Talking about this agency that I have an affiliation with in New York that takes care of the disabled and developmentally disabled, and how they've had a spike in COVID cases, but of the 32 cases they have had since March, since the arrival of COVID on our shores, 30 of them have been since Thanksgiving. So unbelievable. The rise since Thanksgiving, while troubling, in perspective of this whole ride, is really good, what they've been able to accomplish. So I am proud of them and proud of what they've accomplished. I'm proud of all of you and all that you've accomplished. You are at the end of week 42-43. 42-43. Boom! In the book. Over. And for many of you, a good tired to end this week. A good tired. It's a good tired. Even my peanut gallery is saying I've got a good tired today, with the work that I've done. So, look, keep it all in perspective. Week 42/43, that's awesome. That means we're going to start tomorrow, week 43/44. You guys are amazing. Rock stars, I tell you. Rock stars. Rock stars to get this far. Rock stars. And you're going further. You're going further. And I am immensely proud of you for what you have accomplished. So I can't say enough about how great you are. You're freaking awesome. Awesome. The Department of Labor, our friends at the Department of Labor, posted a new rule clarifying the standard for employee versus independent contractor under Fair Labor Standards Act. The rule reaffirms the economic reality to the test to determine whether an individual is in business for him or herself, a true independent contractor, or is economically dependent on a potential employer for work, a Fair Labor Standards Act employee. So it identifies and explains two core factors that are most prohibitive to the question of whether a worker is economically dependent on someone else's business or is in business for him or herself. The nature and degree of control over the work and the worker's opportunity for profit or loss based on initiative and or investments. There are also three other factors that may serve as additional guideposts in the analysis, particularly when two core factors do not point to the same classifications. The factors are the amount of skill required for the work, the degree of permanence of the working relationship between the worker and the potential employer, and whether the work is part of an integrated unit of production. So, basically, your employees are not independent contractors. That's the short version of it. Don't forget it. There, I've just defined labor law for you. Okay? Your employees that you tell to come to work at a certain time and work a certain shift and do certain work and get a paycheck from you, get a paycheck, not an independent contractor. Suzanne and MJ are joining us tonight. Did they know I had a martini tonight in my new martini glasses? There you go. I wish they held more, but they're an awesome glass. They're an awesome glass. I guess that just means I refill more. I don't want people to think I'm drinking too much. So there's that. Then, what else do I got here tonight? I got stuff here tonight. Hey, Michelle, thank you. No, but it is you that are freaking awesome. Hey, Kitty, thank you. The new PPP is coming with new fraud checks. So this is something to be aware of. Hey, Rose. Rose wants a martini. Yeah, no, Cassandra got me these glasses. I love these glasses. They got a, I'm a hard glass in, what else? I'm a hard glass and shoe buyer. I mean, beyond that, I'm easy to buy for. Okay, my peanut gallery is saying I'm very hard to buy for. I think I'm very easy to buy for. These nice glasses, they have a nice weight. Wine on the ESVA? What's an ESVA? It's outside, I'm getting that. ESVA. We're not advanced enough, Suzanne, to know what an ESVA is. You're going to have to, tone it down for the dumb Northerners. So, because of the appearance of fraud in the PPP program, the government is introducing new robust, and they put robust in quotes, so you know it's good, safeguards for the new round of PPP. Oh, thanks, Rose. The eastern shore of Virginia. Now I understand. You got to be a local to understand that, Suzanne. Love you, Suzanne. You missed the episode where nobody in Virginia would sell me a car. I tried last week. Rose loves the peanut gallery. Thanks, Rose. So, the robust safeguards that will kick off with the Paycheck Protection Program this time around will vet the initial information, slightly slowing approvals. It will involve running automated identity and data verification checks overnight. So what they're going to do is, you're going to input your stuff in the system, and they're going to verify you're really you. Okay, that the addresses, that your social security numbers, that your business, that you're affiliated with the business you say you're affiliated with. Stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out what they said was fraud. They had, it was, in the whole scheme of the program, it's nothing. Hang on a second, I just want to see if they gave me the number. It was millions, but it was still a tiny number, and it was a small number of loans that are fraud. So approvals won't be same day, they will be next day because of the way they're processing the fraud checks overnight. So an application entered today, can't get approved today, can't get approved till tomorrow. In the whole scheme of things, not a big deal. Okay? That brings us to our prime topic of the night! The prime topic of the night! Island Peninsula fever. Hey, that's okay, Suzanne. We're good with you. You and MJ are good in our book. All our Virginia followers, we love them. There's been fraud, but it's in... I hate that the news, it makes good news. Fraud makes good news, it makes good headlines, it sells, as the olden days, it sells newspapers, okay? Fraud sells newspapers, okay? Think Newsies on Broadway. But that is infinitesimal. Okay, the amount of fraud to the amount of real jobs and real people it has helped. Real people like you in Virginia. Real Virginians. Virginians. Yes, Virginia, there is fraud, but it is so small. It is more important that we are helping businesses and find the fraud afterwards. Deal with the fraudsters. Deal with the scammers. Deal with them, but up front, trust that most people are good. I just watched Walt Disney in his own words talk. Amazing. Worth the price of Disney Plus by itself to hear Walt Disney's vision and ideas in his own words. But, he believed, all people are good. All people are inherently good. And that was a core tenet of his. I believe people are good, and they can prove me wrong, but I believe people are good. Infinitesimal, yes. Hey, there's fraud. There are bad people out there, Michelle. I understand that, but most people are good. Most people are just hard-working business women like yourself, that are applying to these programs and taking advantage to keep people in Virginia employed, and in Illinois, and in Nebraska, and in Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and all the other states too. Okay? From sea to shining sea, we want to keep people employed. We want people to have value in showing up for a job, and these programs are helping businesses get to the other side. So we need that to happen. We need that to happen, and I am thankful to the SBA, Treasury, and this government for making these programs available. So I am thankful for that. So tonight I have in my hot hands, he's got hot hands. I have the new PPP applications. What?
You said what?
I said what? I have the new PPP first-time borrower application, and I have the new PPP second draw borrower application. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I got them right here. And you know what? Within the hour, they will be up at narts.org/resalestrong. Well, they won't be over there. They'll be in the Narts private Facebook group within the hour. They'll be at narts.org/resalestrong by noon tomorrow. I'm not trying to put pressure on Adele and to make all this happen while I'm actually talking. That is not fair, okay? It is not fair. They have been a tremendous support network. Hey, Vina's here live. Vina is here live. So these applications are available. Keep in mind that the SBA will not be processing applications from mainstream banks and such this coming week. Maybe by the end of the week, but they are doing, as I announced last night, they are doing community development foundations and banks, and they're hitting the underserved and minority and underserved population the first part of this week. Okay? They will open it up to regular. Now, saying that, banks will start taking applications this week because they want to be ready when the SBA portal opens. So I'm going to first cover the first draw application. If you have never had an SBA loan before, if you have never had you did not get a first PPP loan, okay, and many of you that did not take a first PPP loan did not take it because your idle advance was greater than your PPP or equal to. And now it's going to be a great opportunity for you to take a PPP because the idle advance is not subtracted from it. So you're going to want to apply for a PPP for the first time, and you're going to be able to get it. A couple of tricky questions on here, okay, that are on here, and the biggest is the NAICS code. The NAICS code is a code you got when you formed your company and you set up and you got your tax ID number. It's on your tax return. If you go to your tax return, you can find it there on page 1, your NAICS code. It's also on your insurance paperwork. Okay, you can't go pick one that you think works for you now. You need to take the code that you've been using. The rest of this application is extremely simple. It's average monthly payroll, okay, and times 2.5. So you take your 2019 or 2020 payroll, whichever is higher. You multiply it by 2.5, and that gives you your expected proceeds. You list your number of employees and your ownership, and you answer a bunch of questions about that you're not a fraud and you're not going to commit fraud and you're not going to commit crimes and you haven't been committed a crime previously against the government. The other thing that you'll have to submit with this is paperwork proving that the numbers you're giving for payroll are true. Your quarterly 941s will take care of that, okay? For the year 2019 or 2020, whichever period you choose, whichever one gets you a higher amount, you should file for that, okay? And if you have not filed for a PPP before, you should go for it. The reasons most of you that I talked to, okay, that did not that did not get a PPP originally, okay, that did not get a PPP originally, or I advised you against getting a PPP originally, was because of the idle advance. Okay, many of you got an idle advance that was bigger or near your PPP. Okay, so that is what you want to apply if you have not applied before. Okay, and that was the reason why you didn't apply. Okay, you should take this. It is a gift, as Rose would say, to legally take all the money you are entitled to stay in business, to be a valuable part of your community moving forward. This is available to you, and you should take it. Okay? As I've stated before, we are going to work very hard to make sure you spend this money very quickly. The 60% on payroll, 60% must be spent on payroll. 60% must be spent on payroll. 40% can be spent on other things such as rent, utilities, covered operational expenditures, covered property damage, covered supplier costs, and covered worker protection expenditures. So 60% on payroll, 40% on other things. Why not 100% on payroll? Because there's going to be other government money that is for payroll, and you can't mix the two. You can't mix the two. Lori, it would not benefit you one way or the other because you're using past payroll numbers. The only thing it would benefit you for after you get the PPP is you can you can hit the payroll spending targets regardless of when they were hired. So if you they didn't have to work for you in 2019 or 2020 to count towards payroll dollars spent of this PPP. But they're hiring them now before you get it or after you get it is irrelevant because it won't raise the amount of money you're able to get. So keep that in mind. But you're going to spend 60% on payroll and only a tiny bit above that, just to account for any mathematical errors. And that is because there are going to be other groups of money that you are going to be eligible for that are only eligible for payroll. But you can't use the same money. You can't use money from other things at the same time. Okay? You can't use money from this pocket for payroll and this pocket for payroll during the same period. That's called duplication of benefits. And we do not fall into duplication of benefits. You need to, and I'm not going to get into the other money you're going to get now because I am not here to confuse this. The PPP is time sensitive. The other money you're going to get is not as time sensitive. So I'm not going to wade into that tonight. We'll wade into that later next week. Okay, because I need you guys to get this now and not DOB it, not duplicate your benefits. I need you to get it. I need you to spend it on the 60% on payroll because there's going to be other payroll money that most of you are going to be eligible for. Most of you are going to be eligible for these other pots of money that are for payroll, okay, and going to get you guys some significant dollars. But you can't use both at the same time. And to maximize your thing is spending. And we'll get into that. And that's, again, why I do not want you, if you got a first PPP, I do not want you going for forgiveness yet. Hold off on forgiveness because you're going to need to do some calculations on that. And the new forgiveness forms are not out yet. Even to people like me, I don't have the new forgiveness forms yet. I would like to write the new forgiveness forms, and I've suggested to Jovita at the SBA and Steve at Treasury that I could help them write this one-page form. You can decide what they thought of that. But we want to help, we want to maximize your benefits without DOBing them, duplication of benefits. Government loves acronyms. So that's the first time form. If you have never gotten a PPP, if when the first PPP came out, I told you not to get it because you would have to give your idle advance back. Under the new rules, now you want to get it. Now you want to get it because it is not, you do not have to give the idle advance back. So you want to take advantage of this. Okay, you know, $7,000, $5,000, $8,000, any amount of payroll at this point is a good thing if they're going to give it to you. So you do not have to apply. You do not have to apply for forgiveness before applying for the second PPP. You absolutely do not have to. It is specified in the law. It is specified in the application, which I'm going to go over in just 1 second because there's a few more questions on the second draw PPP. They also have not issued the important document that we need, which is the streamlined forgiveness application for PPP loans under $150,000, which is most of the people tuning in tonight. Okay, that form is key. That is the form I'm going to want you to use when we get to forgiveness. I do not want you to use the current form if your PPP is under $150,000. And it is not a requirement. It is specifically, the only requirement is that you have spent your PPP, which everybody has, okay? You'd have to be under a rock. I don't even know where you'd have to be. I can't even imagine a place where you would be in this world that you have not spent your PPP yet. Okay, it just, that world doesn't exist. If you have all this extra money sitting around and you can't figure out how to spend it, call me. I will help you spend it. Okay, I will help you understand how you already spent it. And if I can't do that, I'll buy you a martini. So that then brings us to application number 2. Woo! So exciting. Such an exciting night. And don't forget, you better stay tuned because the recipe of the week is coming up, and this one's special. Yummy! I forgot to tell my peanut gallery to get the ingredients while they were at the market. All right. The PPP second draw borrower application. What's different than the first draw? Okay. I think I missed one question here. Part-time, yes, employee count is actually full-time equivalent is what they're looking for employee count. So that's the number you're doing. You're taking up payroll hours, dividing it by 40 to get your full-time equivalent payroll hours. Okay. So what's different on this than a first PPP application? There's a few things. First, it is asking again for your payroll numbers. If, with a second draw, if you use the same payroll numbers that you used for your first application, if you use 2019 numbers, okay, if 2019 numbers are better, you get to choose. You get to use 2019 numbers or 2020 numbers. Overwhelmingly, for most people that I talk with, 2019 numbers are better because the number is higher. If 2020 numbers are bigger for you, by significantly bigger. I'm not talking $50. I'm not talking probably even $1,000. If they are several, if they are $10,000 better, $20,000 better, you should use 2020 numbers. Just know you're going to have to do more paperwork. Okay? You're completely allowed to do that. If you use the same payroll numbers that you used for your first PPP, it streamlines your application. You're required to verify your application, the numbers you provide, because if you're using the same bank, because they already did that. Okay, so it streamlines your application to do that. Okay, so that's first and foremost. So I recommend in most cases that you do that. Some of you that have a lot of people on your health insurance and you had a big increase in 2020 have a much higher payroll for 2020. Some of the furniture stores that have been extremely busy have a much higher payroll in 2020. That's okay. That's okay, okay, to use that. It's just more paperwork. Just understand that side of it. The next hiccup on this is you have to list your SBA loan number from your first draw PPP. So you have to list your first PPP's SBA loan number. The next question is, give me a quarter in 2020, 3 months of the year, a calendar quarter. Give me the gross sales for that period of time, and give me the same quarter in 2019, and give me the gross sales during that time. What I am looking for is a 25% or greater difference. You have to have a 25% or greater difference during those two periods, okay? So it can't be 20%, it has to be 25. That is the number. That is the magic number, or you will not qualify for a second PPP. So that is the big question on here. Is what are your gross receipts for a quarter? Most of you will hit this with second quarter numbers. Most of you will hit this with second quarter numbers, but it can be any quarter during the year that you were down 25% or greater. Okay, if you can record down 25% or greater in a quarter, it's asking for those two numbers. It's not asking you to provide backup for it at this time. They can ask for backup as part of the forgiveness, even a simplified forgiveness, for you to provide a report. But do not play games with this. If you cannot hit that number, in your books, do not play games with this. Do not apply for it. They will go after, you will be the loan they find, okay? It won't be the guy that stole $3 million. It'll be you that stole $30,000. Do not do that, okay? It is not worth it. Do not commit fraud, okay? Pains and penalties of perjury. They will be severe. Severe, I tell you. Severe pains and penalties of perjury. That's one of the things my father used to whip into me. I think he actually had a whip. Pains and penalties of perjury. Do not commit it. That is the basic change. That is the basic thing in this application that is different than the first. Everything else is pretty straightforward. As long as your loan is under $150,000, you do not have to provide proof up front of your 25% decline. If your loan is over $150,000, you do have to provide proof with application. You're certifying you need this to keep jobs. That's ultimately what this is about. This is about keeping jobs and the economic uncertainty that comes with the pandemic. That is what this is about. That is what that application, you will be able to, you should be scared of perjury. You should be scared of perjury. Okay, Michelle? Perjury is bad. It's bad. We don't do that. We do not do that. This group of people, this community does not commit perjury. It just doesn't. So both applications will be in the NARTS private Facebook group within the hour. I think in about a half an hour they all hit. Okay, I've already got them scheduled. They're going up. So don't think of it as information overload. Just think of this is important to get done. And as soon as your bank is willing to take the application, your bank is going to be willing to take the application likely this week before they're able to process it. Because because of the minority and other people that are at the front of the line this time, they're not likely to be able to process it. They haven't announced the official date. I'm guessing it's going to be a week from Monday. Okay, it might be as soon as Thursday or Friday of this coming week, but I'm guessing a week from now is when the SBA will actually process it. But I am expecting many banks to get their ducks in a row, because we all like ducks that are in a row, and have you start submitting it early. When the SBA opens, now that they know what they need to have for an application, that they can submit it to the SBA right away. And so you want to have your reference quarter ready. You want to have that number ready. And that will be up on the NARTS private Facebook page very shortly. I think I have them set up to go up around 9. And we will answer questions in the coming days. I know you guys are going to have questions, so we will answer those questions. Is Self-Care Sunday. Self-Care Sunday. Why is Self-Care Sunday? That's the day we took every week. Okay, we nominated Self-Care Sunday to be a day to take a breath. Take a breath. Take a break. I know all of you can't take Sunday. That's okay. It's not about Sunday as much as the concept that you take time each and every week to take a break, take a breath, take time for you. Some of you don't have the ability to take a whole day. I get it. Take a half day. Take half Tuesday, half Thursday as your Self-Care Sunday. Take that time to take care of you. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I need you healthy and safe on the other side of this. So take a breath. Take Self-Care Sunday. It's also, we have come up with the recipe of the week. The recipe of the week is that time every narts.org/resale strong REC for the Resale Strong recipe book. But this week's recipe is a good one. This one's a favorite from my youth, when I was just a ute. Okay, I was just a ute. I wasn't 2 utes, I was a ute. Okay, and you know, it's something I always wanted my mother to make for me, but she only did occasionally. Jewish mothers really aren't great cooks. My mother made great reservations. She was done by. I was the oops baby, and my mother was. You know, if you think of Jewish gathering or gatherings of people, she was the Jell-O mold queen. She was the Jell-O mold queen. She would show up at every family event or thing with the Jell-O mold. Okay. And that was even everybody got one of her old molds, after her passing. Everybody got one of her old molds. But one of her dessert, and I never liked her Jell-O mold. She threw stuff in there. I just didn't even know what was in those molds. I mean, it was like, I couldn't Jell-O mold. Okay? But what I could do, that I really enjoyed growing up, and I haven't had in a gazillion years, is her crown jewel dessert, which is from the 1960s Jell-O catalog, okay? And it's their crown jewel dessert, which is basically, I'm calling it a Cool Whip cake, Okay, Cool Whip Jello cake. Hang on, let's see if I can get the picture here right, so that it shows up in there. And it's just something that I always really enjoyed when she made it. And so I haven't had it in a gazillion years, but maybe even we have some self-care Sunday time tomorrow, so maybe we'll make it tomorrow. Although I didn't tell my peanut gallery to get the ingredients while they were at the market. But it's not complicated. It's crown jewel cake. And, it brings back those memories of people like to look back at things. So I'm bringing you this recipe from my childhood, from the Jell-O cookbook, the 1960s cookbook. I'm bringing you that as our recipe of the week this week. Right here from my childhood, folks. I love that, Michelle. A restaurant on the oceanfront called the Jewish Mother. That made my peanut gallery laugh. If you watch the Goldbergs, all of those episodes are like my childhood. My whole family's in that show. Any episode is a true story of something that happened in my family. It's scary. Hey, Tracy, how are you tonight? Great to have you here. Great emailing with you today. So that is going to be up on the NARTS private Facebook page within the hour. It'll be over at narts.org/resalestrong by noon tomorrow. It's all there. So that you take time for you, or as Kitty says, it's not Self-Care Sunday, it's Sanity Day! Sanity Day! Yes, find your sanity with Self-Care Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, everything I talk about here, everything, the PPP applications that I talked about tonight, the crown jewel dessert, everything I talk about here goes over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon the very next day. Noon the very next day. You get to thank Cassandra and Adele for making all that stuff happen. They make me look good. Everything is there, including a direct link to these videos on the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you know when a new one drops. You know when that bell rings. You can also share it all out with your friends, anybody you know in business, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. We're going to help everybody get to the other side of this. We're not leaving any business behind, not a single one. I am here every night, live in the NARTS private Facebook group at more 8 than ish, live every night. If you have a question in between, you just email me, Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com, Neil@ECIstores.com. We start this program every night. We start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. Tonight, we are on page 78, if you're not here at the beginning of the program. Our good morning was, peep the pep in your step and the glide in your stride. You're a knockout, my friend. Let yourself be your guide. Good morning. Our good night tonight is, jaws will drop as you bop. Catch your eye passing by. You're a knockout, my friend. Be yourself. Let it fly. Good night. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. Hey, Nebraska Angie, good to see you. I am Neil Abramson. I do like a good party. A wedding, a bar mitzvah, a party with a Jell-O mold. Who knows? But when we do party again, I can promise you that I will be there with you. Yes, you. But until then, know that you and you, but most especially you, yes, You're not alone running this store. It's time for dessert, everybody. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Self-Care Sunday.